Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Today I'm going to be explaining you the difference between mono and stereo and where we use both of these within our mix and master. So let's get straight into it. So if you don't know what mono and stereo is, I want you to think of the stereo image. So there's three sides of the stereo image. You have the center, you have the left, and you have the right. A mono signal will only lie in the center of the stereo image, and a stereo signal will lie on all sides of the stereo image. So mono will sound a little bit more compact and the stereo will sound wider. Now the issue here is that sometimes when you may buy a plugin, you may see that the plugin says, for instance right here, CLA 76 mono, but then you have another plugin that says Doubler 2 stereo, and it'll be two of the same plugins, just one says mono and one says stereo. To make this a little bit easier for you to understand, whenever we're dealing with a mono signal, we want to put mono plugins on it, and whenever we're dealing with the stereo signal, we want to put stereo effects on it. So for instance, right here, this is my vocal bus, this is my lead vocals. Obviously my lead vocals are mono since I recorded them in mono, so I used mono plugins right here, CLA 76, CLA whatever. As you can see down here, things start to get a little crazy, and right here, Vocal Synth Pro, this is actually a stereo plugin. And the reason why I did it like that is because up here are like the main basic vocals that I need in order to shape my mix. And once you get down here to the special effects and use stereo special effects, it won't give that same really super duper wide effect as it would if I was to use a stereo compressor. Everything still sounds intact, put together. It just makes my vocals sound a bit wider and fuller, which is exactly what we normally want out of our mixes. The issue is sometimes we may get a little bit too much width from using certain stereo plugins, but that's why there's always ways to adjust that specific width in each specific plugin. So right here, this is my background vocal bus where I mix all of my background vocals from, and as you can see, I only have like stereo plugins on here. There's no mono plugins, and the reason why I actually did that is because usually with my background vocals, I like to pan them on different sides of the stereo image, and usually when you have any mono plugins on the bus, the DAW will not allow you to pan, and it's pretty much forcing your bus to be in mono, which is what I wanted to avoid since my background vocals are essentially there to complement my leads. And on top of that, I kind of don't want my background vocals to be sitting in one spot. Even if I didn't pan my background vocals at all, I still want it to sound like my background vocals are the ocean and my leads are gliding through that ocean. So stereo sounds best with background vocals in my opinion. Last things last would be on your master track. Now master track would definitely be stereo since we're not just dealing with the vocals, we're dealing with the entire audio signal from both our instrumentals and our vocals. So sometimes I like to come over here with a stereo imager. What this is going to do is widen the sound from the entire mix and master and make everything sound a little bit more blended together and just a little bit more distant and spacious, which is really cool sounding. So the main thing to take away from this is that we mainly want to pay attention to mono in the beginning stages of our mixing process with our lead vocals. That's when it is most important to use mono. Using stereo right there will absolutely not cut it at all. We have to create that basis until we can get into the more interesting, exciting things with stereo. Also, another thing to keep in mind too is to make sure you're not recording your tracks in stereo and you're recording your tracks in mono. As you can see right here, you have the option to record from both of these and it'll be stereo, or you can record from mono and just choose one of these inputs. You should always be choosing one of these inputs. You should never be choosing both of them up here, unless you're recording with instruments and you're not recording vocals. When recording vocals, always record in mono. When recording instruments, totally different story. But all right, everyone, that is my explanation of mono and stereo. This video is really meant to help you in a situation where the mono stereo question presents itself to you and you're frustrated on what to do, because I dealt with similar situations in the past, so that's why I wanted to give you all this video and help you understand everything a little bit better, just to realize it's not actually that big of a deal at all. But if you're a beginner and you're wondering how to mix your vocals with stock plugins inside FL Studio, hit the link in my description and I'll give you a detailed step-by-step guide which I can ensure will 5 times the speed in which you progress. But alright everyone, hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next one.